What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Ade Gman. We're going to get straight to this because I've wrote down some subjects and we have this is going over an hour. I'm telling you now.
hmm
So grab a coffee if you're watching this, put your feet up, get a drink because there is loads to discuss, loads going on over here, loads going on in America, so much going on with Boxer and DAZN and what's going on with that. So let's get straight to it. Firstly, how are you, my man? Good?
Man, I'm really good. There's nothing better than a really good weekend of boxing. I think we had that. It just puts you in a good mood for the week.
It does, it does. And I think we've had a good week of boxing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the build up to the fights, then you get the fights, then you get news kind of sort of scattered in between fight week, which sometimes gets lost. And we'll talk about some of the news that maybe has got lost because it was such a big fight week. But I think it's been an incredible January. I will say this. I did a video earlier today saying how good and how busy January was, and it still didn't include Moses Italma.
But yeah, exactly that. I mean, we had Caballel, we had obviously those two fights the weekend. I still think that there was, I think one thing about January for me though, we saw a lot of talk, but it was only really the last week we saw a lot of this stuff take place. Because do you remember it was Wilder versus Usyk on IVB, and then now it's Chisora Wilder, then it was on Sky, then it was on, so we saw a lot of back and forth before finally everything just kind of settled out. That's the one thing.
I don't know. I don't know about that. We got Dalton Smith in a world title fight.
That was
We got
good.
Xander Zayas versus Abbas Barrel in a world title fight. We got the return of Amanda Serrano. We got, as you say, we got
Yes.
Caballel in Germany, which was a big thing. We got Shakur Stevenson, Tio. We got Josh Kelly in Sunderland. I mean, we must have had about 8 world title fights. We got Muratalla versus Andy Cruz. I,
Oh
I
yeah.
actually, I actually disagree. I think January was stacked. Honestly, there was at least 2 fight cards every weekend.
There
And
was. I
again,
think
that
the
was without
Atelma.
Moses.
I think that did hurt though, missing the and it wasn't just the Atelma. That Magnificent Seven is flipping magnificent. So I know we have to wait till March for it. I think that's the one thing.
Yeah, I think the one thing which stood out is that there was only one fight card, or at least one big fight card. I know Boxer did one, but one big fight card in the UK. And maybe that's
Yes.
probably what you're getting at in terms of sort of fights over here. Because of the
Yeah,
Italma one, we lost fights over here.
I think so because Dalton Smith, that was a big fight, but it was in the States. Obviously,
Yeah.
the show on the weekend was with Josh Kelly was the first show we had in the UK. So I think when it comes to the UK, which is we live in the UK, we want to see the guys get out here. We want to see the promoters, Eddie, Frank, Ben, etc., do stuff here. And it's like, right, it's January. Come on, it's nothing happening.
Yeah. On that, and I'm probably going away from the order here, and we're going to get back to it. I don't know if you saw, but obviously Ben Whitaker was in New York. Everyone was in New York, obviously, the Ring Awards, as well as Tio versus Shakur. And Ben was talking to, I think it was either Richardson Hitchens or Keyshawn Davis. And he basically gave away the fact that he's going to be in the undercard of Boots Ennis's next fight in America. And I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was a bit disappointed because I want the Ben story to grow over here. I get we want to see Ben fight all over the world, and America are gonna like him because his style is something that I think fans will gravitate to. But I want to see Ben fight over here all the time and then go to America.
Well, if Eddie Hearn says he's this star that he says he is, I'm sure Eddie Hearn just wants to bring him everywhere and have him be global. I'm sure Eddie doesn't want him just stuck in the UK. Maybe that's one thing Eddie maybe I don't know, but maybe he regrets about AJ because AJ was such a massive star, still is in the UK, but it took years before he ever went over to America, and then he never went back until he fought Jake Paul. So I think maybe, and obviously Eddie wasn't doing as many shows back then, but maybe just maybe he's like, right, I think I've got a star here. Let's make him a star everywhere, not just in Britain. Let's make him a star worldwide.
Yeah, my only concern is that obviously, look, UK fight fans bemoan the fact that they don't get the big stars fighting in the UK. And if Ben's going to fight, and I would say Ben, I meant both Ben Whitaker and there's a good chance Conor Ben, and his next fight will be in the States as well. Like if he's fighting Rolly Romero, I feel like it will be in the States.
Oh
If
yeah,
he's fighting Ryan Garcia, I feel like it will be in the States. So again, I think fight fans are going to moan the fact that 2 of Matchroom's biggest stars are going to be headlining or fighting in America as opposed to headlining over here. That's, I think, the only gripe.
one quick one, just a quick one. I'm just gonna challenge you on Ben Whitaker though, right?
Mm.
If he fights on, say, Boots Ennis's undercard against similar level of opponent that he fought last, hopefully better because he was awful. You can't really gripe on that. If you're putting it on as the main event, say in Birmingham or say in the Copper Box, right? In the UK, you could look and say, well, that's a bit of an anticlimax. Whereas doing it on an undercard over in the States, it's not as bad because you're like, well, it's not the center of attention.
No, look, you're right. I mean, ultimately, if you're Ben as well, like all fighters from the UK, I speak to so many, they've all got that dream of going to America and fighting. It still has that pull.
Yeah,
It's
it
it's a
does.
kind of it's a different feeling a fight week in America. Like I've covered fight weeks over here. I've covered fight weeks in Saudi, fight weeks in America. American fight weeks, for some reason, it just feels a bit different. And if you're Ben, you're probably thinking, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
And if it is a Boots Ennis fight card, which I guess will mean probably a smaller but a sold out venue, and I'm guessing Ben will be co-main event. You're going to get that fan base as well. And I think the fan base are going to love him, and hopefully it's against someone in America that fight fans know. That would be good as well. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. You got to be careful in America because it's such a big place that if you think someone is a little bit of an easy touch, they turn out being a revelation.
Yeah.
So that's one thing you got to be careful.
Yeah, I think the matchmakers will make sure that their prize asset, Ben Whitaker, isn't fighting no killer. Trust me. I mean, no chance, no way. I'll tell you who did fight a killer: Josh Kelly. Fought a killer and tamed him. And let's you know what I do hate. Everyone now is like, oh, Backram was shit. Well, no. No one was saying that in the lead up to the fight. Backram was the boogeyman. So let's give Josh Kelly all the credit in the world because he found a style that might not be to the want of everyone, but he found a style and got the job done, and he needs credit for it.
He did find a style. He did get the job done. I had Backram winning the fight though.
Yeah.
I had Backram winning the fight. I said that I watched it live. The live watch long, you can hear me say it. I thought Backram just nicked it. Yes, I thought he came on strong late. The knockdown definitely happened, definitely helped him. And I thought that he pretty much, from round 9 on, pretty much took every round. And the 12th round, people said, but he landed one combination in a round, and that round, and the rest of the round, Backram was landing and was moving around the ring. There you go.
I don't know if Backram was landing and moving around the ring. And look, I get you because even during the broadcast, me and Tony did a couple of stand-ups during the fight. And I said to Tony, I think the first stand-up, I said, will the judges like this kind of back foot fighting? Tony, a bit harsh, called it running. And I said it's going to be tough, like, because he's not really landing. He's landing pot shots, then running. And its Backram is on the offense. But it was the catchy stuff. And I know that, what the judges are like. They like the catchy stuff. The crowd goes crazy. And it's hard to kind of not give him those rounds. But it's interesting that you had Backram winning. I haven't heard anyone say that yet.
Yeah, no. I think a few other people had him as winning as well. Like I said, I mean, pretty much I was watching you guys, you and Tony, and I was agreeing with Tony's scorecard up until the last 2 rounds. He gave both those rounds to Josh Kelly. I gave him the Backram. And I think Tony only had Kelly winning by like 2 points. So there you go. You flip it around, and there you go. You Backram now winning. So it was close. I don't have any issue with Josh Kelly. I can see why the judges gave him the rounds. But as you saw with the scorecards, it was close with them as well. I think Backram's going to be kicking himself for that knockdown because it was a silly knockdown. He wasn't hurt.
Yeah. No, he was square on and got caught with a jab, basically. And it's one of those where he's probably thinking, shit, I need to go through the gears. My disappointment with Backram, and obviously look, this was the first time me seeing him live and up close and personal, well, it was the same pace throughout the fight. And I'm thinking, okay, dude, you need to kind of go through the gears here a little bit because I think they expected Josh to kind of die off a cliff maybe after round 7 or 8. And Josh looked like he was starting to, maybe the gas tank was slowing a bit. And I thought, okay, this is where Backram goes. And when he got the knockdown, okay, go now if you're Backram. And I thought it was still the same kind of pace. I'm like, you need punches and bunches. We need to bully him. And I didn't really see the punches and bunches or the change in pace.
Yeah, no, he stayed at the same pace while Josh Kelly went from fast to slower. So he did, as you say, the legs went a little bit. He got tired, but Backram didn't do anything with it. Like when he dropped them in round 9, I was like, right, he's going to be on him like a bad smell now. And he was in that round. But then round 10 comes and I'm like, mate, what are you doing? You're following around the ring again. Yeah, you're winning the round, but like you just had him down literally a round ago and he was hurt. Just go and put it on him. Just go and set the tempo, move it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost as though he needed like a Nazim Richardson in the corner to scream at him and saying, okay, understand something. You're in this guy's backyard.
Yep.
Like, the crowd are against you. Maybe even the judges are against you. You need to do something here. And it's almost as though he thought he was fighting on neutral territory. Like
exactly.
He was going to get a fair shake. And I was like, look, that's how it should be. Don't get me wrong. But that's how it isn't. And I almost felt like Backram didn't realize, or maybe he was a bit concerned about the gas tank. Obviously, he hasn't fought for what, 15 months. Maybe he was a bit worried that if I kind of just give everything, there's going to be nothing left. But I ain't going to lie, I was a bit disappointed. I was excited to see him. I was thinking, is this like the 154-pound Beterbiev? And the answer is no.
A resounding no. A resounding no. Oh boy, Beterbiev, if you got like Beterbiev at 154, Josh Kelly ain't winning that fight. Hell no. No, I was disappointed in Backram as well. I think Josh Kelly, I got to give credit to him because I think Backram had a plan. He just didn't really have a plan B. And once he realized Josh Kelly was a great mover, he was fast, he was countering him, I think he kind of was like, right, I'm just going to hope he gasses and see what happens. I think that became the plan then.
Yeah. I wonder what this does for like the Northeast, because I mean, I was saying on the show that there aren't that many, or has never been that many world champions from that region. I mean, obviously Savannah Marshall, I can't discount her, but I'm talking male world champions. I mean, Stuart Hall won it back in 2013. He's a Darlington fighter. Glenn McCrory, that's way back in 89 or something. That region really hasn't had anything. And I do wonder if now, obviously Eddie's going to go back there. He tried to go there with the McCormack brothers and Cyrus Pattinson. That didn't really work. It's not an area for some reason which generates a lot of like top tier fights. Very good, good British level fighters, but in terms of top tier talent, not much from there.
That's very strange though, as you say, because I associate like Newcastle, the Northeast there, as a bit of a boxing town, bit of a boxing city. Yeah. But as you say, world champion wise, you never really hear of them. I mean, Josh Kelly, and even then Josh Kelly, I never really touted him as a world champion. So yeah, like I'm hoping this pushes it on because now they can see what's possible. But as you say, you named Cyrus Pattinson was another one. Eddie Hearn promoted him for a while. The McCormicks. It's very strange when you think about it because it's like an endless flow of fighters, but they just have that one level. You never see them push on.
Yeah, you never see them go past sort of the British scene. And even if they do, once they get to like European and certainly world, they kind of fall down. But look, who knows? Sometimes it takes something like what happened on Saturday to really give it a kickstart and a push. Who would you like Josh to fight next? I mean, there are killers, right? I mean, we know this division. This division honestly quite scary. I think there's a deal with Boots, but I think something has to happen for that to work out. In an ideal world, putting your managerial hat on, what's a good fight from next?
That's a good question. In an ideal world, if I wanted a big fight in the UK as a world title defense, we're going to talk about him later, but I'd be saying Conor Benn. He seemed... Josh Kelly, when he was down at 147, and this is years ago, wanted that fight. And Conor seemed keen on it at one point as well. And this is, again, years ago when both of them were a bit more unproven. Now, Conor Benn is talking about going to 147, fighting Rowley, fighting Ryan. Mate, it's been 4 years since he's made that weight. He's nearly 30. How do we know he can even do that? If he can't do it safely anyway, if he can't do it safely, there's a world title shot for you. Massive fight in the UK. I'd make Josh Kelly favourite, but Ben's improved a lot over the years.
Yeah, look, it's a good shout. I said it post-fight as well. I kind of was chucking out a lot of the 154-pound guys. And I was like, well, one second, what about Conor as well? Of all the options Conor has, this is probably the one that makes him the least amount of money. And Conor's about his money. Yeah, 100%. Rowley's a bigger fight in America. Devon's a bigger fight in America. Ryan's a bigger fight in America. I dare say Shakur, and we'll get to it, is a bigger fight in America. Those are all pay-per-view fights in America. Massive fights as well. Conor's now become that star, right? Everyone knows who he is in America. I'm not quite sure how big a fight Josh is yet. I mean, I've been to a few Josh Kelly fights. I think that's the biggest amount of people I've seen at a Josh Kelly fight. And I would say there's about 6,000 there, maybe 7,000. So I'm not quite sure if he's ready for that next leap where we're guaranteed to get a stadium out of him and Conor. I'm not quite sure.
That would be just in terms of UK based with my manager's hat on. If I was Josh Kelly's manager, I'd be pushing for it because you feel confident about winning. It would definitely do UK pay-per-views if nothing else. Yeah, but as you say, those other fights, America and UK, that's different.
Yeah. You know the issue with Conor and Josh, and you're right, those guys were going back and forth about 4 years ago. They haven't gone back and forth since. So it's almost like you're starting fresh beef. Like I haven't heard Conor mention Josh Kelly once in the last 4 years. It literally has been Eubank, Ryan, Rowley, whoever, Shakur. So you almost have to start it, kind of get the wheels started again. And I think that's the issue. It'll take a while to start. I don't even think Conor's looking towards Josh Kelly. I honestly think he's thinking America.
It does seem that way because he just seems to spend all his time and tweet about only American fighters, never any in the UK. Never any in the UK.
Let's move on to a couple of the fights on the undercard. I do want to touch on Alif Tahan. And we've given her all the praise in the world. I said she's my female fighter of the year. In terms of breakout star, she was incredible in 2025. She was awful on Saturday. Like almost, it was almost as though she'd never boxed before and was like a kickboxer or jiu-jitsu person from MMA who's decided to fight. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a world champion.
Yep, I can't disagree with you at all. Now, she is very crude. We even said that when she fought Beatrice. She is a crude fighter, but God, can she punch? I think I'm going to say this, right? It probably didn't help her, given the fact that she only fought, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You know, it's a big, quick turnaround. You know, and again, it's not like a heavyweight who can do it. You're having to make weight, and you're having to make a specific weight, you know? So how easy is that for her? Again, I'm just giving reasons why I think she performed so poor, because I just struggle going from that performance against Beatrice to this. Beatrice Ferreira to this. It was crazy.
Look, she got 3 weeks. She got 3 weeks notice. I spoke to a trainer at the hotel, but that doesn't 3 weeks notice doesn't like discount your technique. Like your technique's your technique. It might unravel, you know, because as you say, making weight and not much time to kind of relax and sort of get a fight camp going. But her style, like there's basic things that I think every boxer should be able to do. And you barely see a jab. You barely see her throw any uppercut. She doesn't seem to throw any hooks. It literally is that windmill type thing. And look, if it catches you, it catches you. But she's fighting boxers now who are not surprised about what she can do. She's no longer the surprise girl, right? Where you don't know who she is. And I feel like they're just going to read those windmills because she is literally sending a postcode. I mean, a postcard telling you where that punch is going to come from. It's so far back. I'm like, she needs to be better.
If boxing doesn't work, she'd be a great bowler in cricket, wouldn't she? With the way she throws some of them shots, man. She really would. Maybe that's the thing, though, because she fought that girl on the show in Ireland last year where she got that first round knockout. Shauna Brown. I knew it was Shauna something. She fought her, and again, she was a bit of an unknown, and then she fights Beatrice, again, as a bit of an unknown.
No, she had one in between.
Oh, she won in between.
Yeah.
But they were all by knockout. But now, right, especially after the Beatrice fight, people have seen her. They can look at that footage and they can say, right, she did that against the best in the division. She's swinging. She's crude. Okay, we need to be careful because she carries power, but she doesn't carry a jab. She doesn't carry technique. So if we can see these shots coming, and I'm sure Beatrice just was like, all right, I wasn't expecting it. Didn't see this coming. If they know what to expect, they can, read it. They can anticipate it. And then it's her boxing, which is just not there. It's not.
Yeah. No, it's non-existent. I remember after the Beatrice fight, I went really big, and rightly so. She knocked out Beatrice Ferreira. I was like, "Oh, Caroline Dubois, Alicia Baumgardner, like maybe stay away." Now I'm like, take it. Like these girls can box. Alicia can box. Caroline can certainly box, and they both do carry power as well. I'm like, that's not. You shouldn't be scared of Alif Tahan after that performance. Nope. But maybe this helps Alif because she wasn't going to get any of these fights. Now they might start knocking on the door.
Oh, I'm sure Ben's already on the phone to Eddie saying Caroline's available. Oh no, actually she's with Jake Paul now, but I'm sure Jake is on the phone saying she's available or Elise is available because they'll look at that and think, okay, I have to be a bit careful, but if I just stick a jab on her, that's it. It's done. I've won this fight.
Yeah, but look, I mean, she's still unbeaten, so give her some credit, I guess. I should, even though it wasn't the best performance. Ultimately, W's the W, and you move on. Josh Padley became European super featherweight champion. Beat a guy called Jawad Belmidi. The European title is a big title, or at least, big. Yeah, it is big, isn't it? Let me not show it.
Yeah, it is. No, it's a huge title.
That was one of the worst opponents I've ever seen challenge for a European title. I don't know if there was something wrong with him, and maybe that needs to be looked at. I don't know, because he entered the ring and his demeanor was very flat. He was in the corner, looked stiff as a board, as Conor McGregor would say. And look, ultimately, if you're Josh Padley, you don't give a shit. You got the belt, and it moves you on to maybe a world title shot. But I'm watching that thinking, Shabazz Massoud had to fight Peter McGraw for a European title shot, and that was a war. And Josh Padley got that kid.
It's crazy because the EBU title gets you a top 15 ranking, with the sanctioning bodies. So it's not it's more prestigious. It's maybe not more prestigious, but it's definitely a bigger title than the British title, right? It is. It's an achievement. It's a serious achievement to win that, right? But the problem is, right, European level is normally a gauge of if you can go to world level. Because 9 times out of 10, you're meeting really good fighters. But there's it happens now and again. It happened with Adam Azim when he won his. That guy was no good. When Sam Egerton won the European title all those years ago, he fought some Spanish guy who could barely throw a punch. He didn't know what he was doing. So there are outlines where they fight in their home country, they rack up a couple of wins, they get a high rank with the EBU, and they're completely unproven. Like, you would feed them to a prospect. You wouldn't be feeding them to a guy challenging for a European title like Josh Padley. And that's the thing. Some of these EBU titles, you win them, and you'd have a much harder time trying to get a British title, because we know what the scene is like in Britain. We know the domestic scene is tough. European title level, it's normally tougher, but not always. Sometimes these guys do slip through, and you think, I'll have that easy European title.
You know, he lost his last fight, this kid, but he lost it to Kanju, or Zhu. Everyone remember him.
Yes.
The guy that fought Lee Wood.
Eddie
Hearn's back garden. Good fighter. And he went to points with Zhu. And I haven't watched the fight. I just saw it when I was kind of doing a bit of studying. So it makes me feel like if you're going to points with Zhu, there's something about you. You're not a scrub. So I honestly believe that there was something wrong with him going in the ring. Obviously, it won't come out, but he had weird bleeding underneath his armpits. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, that was bizarre. I think he didn't look right.
No,
he really didn't look right. And the knockout was big, but it wasn't a knock, because they had him on the ground for a while. It wasn't that kind of knockout that you thought, oh God, that looked big. It looked decent, but it didn't look, devastating. So I do wonder, was there something maybe going in that he didn't maybe divulge until the day of the fight? I'm only thinking out loud there, because as you say, he really looked, he looked away with fairies before the bell even went.
Yeah. And look, if there was something, we're never going to know about it. Again, like boxing is, it's the wild, wild west. He will move on. Josh Padley will move on, and everyone will forget. All right, 20 minutes in, let's do this. Let's talk Shakur Stevenson's masterclass of a Teofimo Lopez. You were completely right. I was completely wrong. I thought Tio would put up some better of an effort, considering this is the number one at 140 pounds, and Shakur's coming up to your weight class, and this is a fight against one of your peers. I still don't know if Tio was just really bad or Shakur is like Crawford and Mayweather. Like, are we watching someone that, when it's all said and done, is going to go down as one of the all-time greats?
Yes. It's as simple as that. And Teofimo Lopez was not that bad. He was in there with a special talent. It's as simple as that. Teofimo Lopez will go 147. He'll do good work. He'll do great work. He'll make the division better. But Shakur Stevenson is just special. I knew going into this fight that this was going to be a win. I just thought stylistically it's a slam dunk. But even I wasn't expecting it to be this one-sided. I thought Teofimo would win some rounds. Watching it on Sunday morning, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. It's beautiful. And he didn't run. People talk about running. That wasn't running. He was taking center ring. He was in the fire. He was in the line of fire. And it was just, the movement was amazing. The right jab, that right jab was like a piston. It bust Teofimo Lopez's eye up so bad.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it was an incredible performance. I knew from the very first 45 seconds that Shakur's just going to dominate him.
Yeah.
Tio was so aggressive and came across the ring. And I was like, well, what's Tio doing? I thought Tio was going to maybe allow Shakur to come onto him. Because I think Tio fights better that way, when he's almost not the aggressor, but when he kind of meets someone head on. But I've never think of him as a front runner who's going to come and destroy you. It's just not what he does. And I thought, are you trying to be aggressive to the best defensive fighter in boxing today? You're not going to win. Nope. And he landed a couple of nice little left hooks, Shakur Stevenson. I was like, oh, this fight's done. This fight's done.
Yeah, I knew you were right. As soon as he came out aggressive, I was like, mate, you're a boxer puncher. This is not you. And then once I saw the jab landing, and then Shakur was already letting the left hands go, I was like, yep, writing's on the wall. It's like you said there, I knew from the first round, I was like, he's going to win this fight. And it's just a case of how many rounds is he going to win it by? Evidently, he won it by 11 rounds. So it was a shutout.
Yeah, and he could have won it by 12. The round where Tio won, I've watched that fight 3 times now. he took the round off Shakur.
Oh,
Shakur
absolutely.
just decided, you know what, I'm just going to kind of reserve my energy levels, have a look at you. And Tio thought he was starting to get success. And it was almost like giving Tio a full sense of security here. Like with Tio's thinking, I'm back. And Shakur's like, you're not back. I've just taken a round off. I'm faster than you. I'm quicker than you. I'm stronger than you, which was crazy, by the way, to see. And I'm just overall better than you. Like that was as good as anything I've seen, considering that these are 2 pound for pounders. It's not Crawford Spence. And isn't that because ultimately Crawford put a beat down on Spence?
Oh, yeah.
But it could have been. Like I thought Shakur could have put a beat down on Tio. There were times in there where I was like, oh, he's there for the taking. Like you could really get him out of here and that will make a statement.
Well, Crawford's always been someone where he's vicious, Terence Crawford. Even if he's outboxing you, he wants to get that knockout. He's not happy going 12-round point decision. If he can get you out of there, he will. Shakur Stevenson's not like that. If the knockout is just, it's there, you can't miss, then he'll take it. For the most part, he's happy to just stay on the outside, outbox you, because he knows his defense is so good. He's not really in any danger. I would have liked to have seen him. I like TEOFIMO Lopez, but I would have liked to have seen Shakur close the show. I think he could have.
Yeah. And I think that's what's a bit annoying with this whole thing is the fact that and I think everyone's in sort of unison. Everyone thinks he can get rid of Tio. And I know Shakur knows he can get rid of Tio. And I'm like, just show us that. Show us that bit of spite because Mayweather had it. Say what you want about Mayweather. There's some fights where Mayweather was trying to go for the kill. We know Crawford's got it in abundance. And I feel like that's the thing that's holding him just a little bit back is that he doesn't go for the kill when he can.
I think he needs to. I think that there's a star there in him. I think there's a potential star in Shakur Stevenson, right? And I think that it's going to take him being in a fight like that, where he's so far ahead, for him to just turn around and say, do you know what? I'm going to end it. Keyshawn Davis did that in the co-main event. He was outboxing that guy, Jermaine Ortiz, clearly. And then once it got to the end, he was like, I'm turning it up. I'm going to hit you to the body. And I'm going to take you out. I think Shakur could have done that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the hands. I don't know what it is. Whether he knows if he sits on the shots, maybe there's a hand problem. I don't know, but I'd like to see it because again, I think that would separate him from everyone. Like to know that he could fight like that and has power to knock you out. I mean, you are talking special of special. Where does he jump to in your pound for pound rankings?
Top 3 behind who's second anyway. I said it before, and my opinion hasn't changed, even though our performance was just, I would say probably, and bear in mind, we're only into February, but that's probably going to be the performance of the year for 2026, most likely. He's top 3 definitely now, 100%.
Yeah.
4 division world champion.
Yeah, and I'm with you. For me, he's number 3. He jumps above Bivol and Bam. I will say this, though. Bam always goes for the kill, which I like a lot. And Inoue always goes for the kill, wants to take your head off. Might not always do it, as we've seen at the higher weight class. And I think we know Usyk wants to kill you. And I think that's the difference. Those other guys in the pound for pound rankings, the thing that separates them, because look, they're all brilliant boxers, is that the other guys want to go for the kill. Yeah. And maybe Shakur, who doesn't. But look, no qualms. It was a sold out MSG. And it was really, really good. I do want to quickly get your thoughts on Tio's dad and that cornering.
Man, where I actually, do you know what? I feel bad for TEOFIMO Lopez having to deal with that, because in a fight like that, listen, he could have had Manny Stewart in there. He could have had Customato. He wouldn't have won, but he could have done a lot better if he had them. And his dad just barking at him. It's just, he needs to change it up. I know it's family, but this isn't the first time we've seen his dad behave like something in the corner, and it just has to change. You're not helping him. He has to do this on his own.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him. And the reason I don't feel sorry for him, Tio's not a kid anymore. He's not 21. He's a father himself. He's 28 years old. Eubank Jr. did it. Eubank Jr. realized, 1 second, in order for me to go to that next level, I do need to separate. I need to create that separation. Conor's done it with Nigel. No one really talks about that. Nigel leaves Conor alone to do his own thing. He trusts Tony Sims and he trusts his son to kind of get on with it. Like, there's got to be a time where Tio says, Dad, you're there for me. Like, you're still father and son. But in order for me to go to that next level, I feel like I do need another trainer in the corner. No harm.
No.
Dad might be upset, but is his son? Go and let your son do something else, dude.
Exactly. And look at Tyson Fury and John Fury. Tyson's pushed John to the side before and he's brought him back, and no harm done. When he's felt like he's needed to, he's done that. And I think Teofimo should do that. And as you say, he's not a baby. He's not a baby. He's not a boy. He's a grown man. He's nearly 30. Should be easily able to say, Dad, love you. You're my dad. But I need someone else. I need someone who lives, eats, sleeps, and breathes boxing to be in the corner and keep a level head.
Yeah. I know he's come out and said he'll jump to 147, and I think he can beat a lot of those guys up there. I think this is going to be very difficult mentally to get over. Dude, this was a whitewash, dude. This was a bit of a beatdown. Look, it's not a beatdown to the point where he's taking a lot of heavy punches. That will physically take a lot longer. I'm talking mentally. Like I've always said that Tio, when he's on it mentally, he's okay. But I think we've seen a few times when he's broken down in the ring mentally. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I worry for him a little bit because all the eyes of the world were there. This was his big fight. This was the fight, right? Not Vasily, not Josh Taylor. This is it. And you kind of got embarrassed a little bit. And so I think mentally it's going to take a lot to get him back.
I agree completely with you there. It will take a lot to come back. And you see, he's lost already. He lost to George Kambosos. That was an upset. No one thought about that. No one thought he'd lose. But we knew that wasn't the right Tio. We knew he wasn't in the right headspace, physically, mentally, and it was very, very close, right? So he can look at that and say, you know what? Even at my worst, I lost it by a split. At my best, I got whitewashed. That's a hard one. That's going to be really, really tough mentally to come back from. Really tough.
No, agreed. Who does the great Shakur Stevenson fight next?
That's a good question. I wanted to stay at 140. I know we mentioned Conor Ben, but I think that there's jobs to be done at 140, and I'd like to see him push on for undisputed at 140. I was gonna say 135 was his limit until I saw him in the ring, and I was thinking, damn, you are massive at 140. So he's solid. He's a good size and powerful there. So I think do what you got to do at 140. Bit like Terence Crawford, win a title at 135, undisputed at 140, and then try welterweight. You're young enough.
Yeah, so dude, when you say try welterweight, I think he'll destroy everyone at welterweight. I don't think it's even a trying. I think in his next fight, if he wants to win a world title, he'll win a world title at 147.
He probably could.
Tio's been speaking about going to 147. There was no size difference between the two.
That shocked me. Like how big Shakur looked. It was crazy.
Yeah, none at all. And the guys at 147 are small guys. They're not there. There's no Boots Ennis there. There's no Virgil there. The biggest probably is Lewis Crocker. Lewis Crocker's probably the biggest 147 guy. And he isn't massive either. So, and look, let's be honest, it's skills that pay the bills. Like I genuinely believe that, I know we talked about a rehydration thing with Conor, but I genuinely believe he can go to 147 and kick some ass there and become a 5-weight world champion. Then that's the limit. He's not going to 154 yet. That's the limit because those guys are enormous giants. Yeah, I don't see anyone at 147 that's like daunting. I really don't. 140, Richardson Hitchens, Dalton Smith. He does those guys as well, to be honest.
Yeah, he does.
He needs the only person, like I said this in my video, who is Maidana? Like there needs to be a Maidana to challenge him. He's not going to challenge his skill for skill. Like there needs to be a Margarito-esque type fighter. Because if you're trying to go skill for skill, you're losing. You need someone that doesn't care and is a bit reckless.
When I was watching it on Saturday, that's the first name that came to my mind when people were saying to me, like, who do you think would win? And I was like, looking at him, I was like, he'd hate a Maidana. He'd hate someone like that.
Yeah, that would be a problem. Someone that has power, that just stays there, like backs his chin, willing to get caught, doesn't care. Those fighters don't exist. I mean, the only one that came to mind, and I thought, okay, but I think Shakur would outbox him quite comfortably, is Pitbull Cruz. He's kind of built in that mold of I come forward and fight, but he'll get teed up all night.
He will probably get stopped. And he'll probably get stopped without Shakur trying to. And I love Pitbull, but no way.
You know the fight the world needs to see. And look, I know this guy's going through so many issues, so it isn't going to happen. Gervonta Davis.
I know.
But now that Shakur is that guy and has sold 20,000, Shakur's now a superstar. Like it's taken a while. He's now a superstar. Like the only other guy really, I mean, Devin Haney's there, but Devin Haney doesn't have the pop. Gervonta could put you to sleep, but obviously Gervonta's, I think, he's whatever he's doing. But that's the one for me. Nothing else really kind of gets the juices flowing for me at the moment.
It upsets me when you do say Tank Davis because you just think, what a waste. What a flipping waste. And that fight right there, because Tank Davis, he's been outboxed at times, but goddamn. That uppercut. Remember Santa Cruz?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Oh
you
my God.
outbox him, but it's for fear of your life if he gets closer. Because you know, at any time you could be sleeping. Frank Martin, like on the back foot, trying to be nice and cute, bang.
Rolly.
I mean, any time, Rolly. Like if his mind's on it, you're getting knocked out. When he's not on it, obviously it's a different Gervonta Davis. But look, we'll see. All right, that's that. Big Baby Miller. What's going on with this week, dude? What's going on?
I'm asking for a friend. Where did he get it? Does anyone know?
Well, no. You're asking for a friend where he got it, so you don't go and get it.
So no, actually, good question. Points, but don't go and get it because God, that I've never seen it. I was watching it, so I didn't go live, but I stayed up and watched it, and I'm like, am I seeing things, or am I just tired? And then I'm like, oh my God, it took it off, and it lands next to Fabio Wardley. Sky Nicholson was trying it on and everything.
Dude, it's so embarrassing. He's quite fortunate. Yeah, nobody's talking about his performance.
No, because it wasn't a great performance.
It wasn't a great performance. Everyone's talking about the hairpiece, and I'm like, let's talk about the performance first. That's what I want to focus on as opposed to the wig. And like Ibe is a good fighter. I think he got beat by Jared Anderson way back in the 6th round that got knocked out. But apart from that, he's put together a winning run. But he's nowhere near a top 20 guy. And I actually thought Jerome Miller lost that fight, but everyone's forgotten about that because of the wig.
I thought Jerome Miller just nicked it, but I agree with what you're saying there. He was hit so much. He's always hit, but with this one, it was like Kingsley Ibe was just given, and he was happy to take it, and he was outworking Jerome Miller early on. Man, Jerome Miller was getting lit up early on in that fight, even before the tope flew off. So it was a horrible performance. I think Jerome Miller right now is 37 years old. That style is taxing. It's very taxing on the body. So I think maybe now he is showing his age.
Yeah, he's showing his age because, and I don't care what anyone says, Jerome Miller's not living the life correctly.
Hell no.
I get all this big baby thing. I'm the big guy in the room, and I love it. I've always said like I'd have Jerome Miller on every single fight card because he is entertaining and he's great value. But again, and we've spoken about this with Martin Bacoli, Jerome Miller came into that ring, I think 320 pounds,
17 pounds.
Like Dude, no, you can't be that big and be a professional athlete, let alone a boxer that is always going to go the distance. Because Jerome Miller's not knocking people out anymore. He's going the distance. Nope. So you've got to say to yourself, what's the best weight for me to capitalize on what these opportunities I'm getting? And that would be around, just get down to 280. I'm not asking for you to be 250. It's not realistic. Get down to 280.
He was 280 years ago, and he fought Johan Duapas. Remember him? And he looked good. He actually looked a bit powerful in it because I think he's too heavy. He can't even get like proper rotation into these shots now. He's just slapping all night. That's not going to work.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of it at all. I don't like it. And hopefully he looks at this as well. Like, again, people making jokes about the wig thing and fair, but hopefully there's someone in his team that's like, okay, look, dude, we need to maybe look at what you're doing. Like, be a professional athlete. Just be like, look at this as, my God, these are great opportunities. Like Andy Ruiz was a great opportunity. Fabio Wardley would have been a great opportunity. Daniel Dubois was a great opportunity. Ibe was a great opportunity. Madison Square Garden. Be the best version of yourself. You're 37. This only goes on for a couple more years where you can cash in. I find it crazy and annoying that some of these guys are not the best athletes, which is why I always praise AJ. Yes. And people are like, oh, Ade, you overpraise him. I'm praising because he's an athlete.
He keeps himself in shape all year round.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Just on Miller.
Conor Ben. Go on. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, just on Jerome Miller, I'm going to chuck this in there. I saw Boxing King Media saying that there's talk of a show in Nigeria with him versus Joe Joyce on it. Did you hear anything about that?
No.
I've seen a few reports on it.
When was this?
Yesterday.
No. I mean,
yesterday.
I say no. I was with the promoter for that event that you're referring to. I was with him in his flat in London last week. Week before I went to Morocco. And we were actually going through the plan for the next fight card. And there was no Joe Joyce or Big Baby Miller on that plan.
Maybe it's Boxing King Media just sharing some stuff. But I did see that and I was thinking that's an interesting fight if it did happen.
I mean, look, a lot could have happened in the 2 weeks that I sat with Dr. Easy. Anything could have happened, right? And I know Boxing King Media does talk to him quite a lot, but when we were going through the fight card, it didn't have had a couple of big names, which I will tell you after about, but it certainly didn't have Joe Joyce or Big Baby Miller on it.
Fair enough.
But who knows? A lot could happen. Conor Ben jumping in the ring After, what did you make of it?
He really wants these big American fights. The only fight I give him a chance against is Rowley. I think Shakur would decimate Conor Benn. He doesn't need that rehydration clause. He's good enough to win without it. And I think Ryan beats him. I think Conor Benn wants these big fight dates. He wants these big names in America. But I'm just going to be honest, right? What have you done? You beat a weight range, shot the bits, Chris Eubank Jr., and that's it. And yeah, and you've not even made the weight for 4 years. So yeah, I mean, you can haggle for these fights, and you're in a position where these guys want to fight you. I think these guys want to fight you because they look at you and they know, all right, this is easy. Simple. That's what I think.
Okay. I'm slightly different on that.
Okay.
I'm slightly different. Number one, I love the fact he's there. I love the fact that he's trying to set himself in America. I love the fact that he's become this showman, almost / character, because I've met Conor out and he's not what you're seeing on camera. But with all due respect to Conor, if Shakur Stevenson calls me out, I'm jumping in the ring. Why am I not going to jump in the ring? Conor didn't get himself in the ring without Shakur Stevenson saying, "Where's Conor Benn?" Like, and then start calling him out and saying things. If I'm Conor Benn, I'm doing my job. I'm getting in the ring and I'm trying to sell a fight because I didn't get in the ring. It wasn't like Turkey said, "Get in the ring." This is Shakur Stevenson calling him out. And I think more fighters need to take a leaf out of Conor's book. Do that. And as for what have you done to deserve this? I mean, this is boxing nowadays. What has Ryan done to deserve to fight Mario Barrios? Like, Ryan ain't done nothing. Ryan's coming off a defeat and a no contest where he got banned for a year. So I'm not look, some people will jump the queue and some people won't. And I'm not a fan of people jumping the queue, but I understand that's kind of how boxing is at the moment. You will have people queue jump. And if these guys want to fight Conor, I think Conor would be stupid not to say, "I'll fight you." And also, I don't think Ryan's like easy. I think Conor could cause Ryan a hell of a lot. I mean, I saw what Rody did to Ryan.
Ryan is an interesting one because it's a case of two Ryans. If Ryan that turns up against Rowley against Ben, yeah, I'd give Ben a chance. If it's Ryan who's firing on all cylinders, like Ryan who fought Luke Campbell, even though he was dropped in that fight, I think Conor Benn gets stopped.
Yeah,
seriously, I think Conor Benn gets stopped 4 years ago.
Yeah,
that was down at 140. No, 135.
135.
135. Yes, I remember that fight very well. It was a good fight.
Very, very good fight. Yeah, very, very good fight. I thought Luke was going to win. I actually picked Luke to win. That's Ryan's biggest win. I'm not sure. I give Conor, obviously, Shakur Stevenson's a whole different. Let me not be stupid. I mean, Shakur Stevenson's pound for pound number 3 at any weight class, regardless of rehydration cap. Shakur Stevenson beats Conor Benn. Devin Haney beats Conor Benn as well. Devin Haney, 2 skill, isn't about power. Those guys are supreme boxers. Supreme. Rowley, Ryan. Nah. I'm not going to. Who was beating Ryan until the referee stopped it again? Tony Week stopped it. Was it Barroso? Ishmael Barroso, I think.
No, that was
Who was it?
Oh, that was Rowley. Yeah, no, that was Rowley. Yeah.
Beating Rowley. Yeah. It was beating Rowley. And then I'm not a biggest fan of Rowley at all. I think Conor could do Rowley, and I think Conor's got a good chance against Ryan. But look, I don't mind what Conor's doing. I know it pisses people off because, again, all the drug issue before. What has he done? Who has he beat? I think sell yourself. If you can sell yourself, go out and do it. I think more fighters should look at what Conor's doing and thinking, well, 1 second, I need to kind of do this, kind of what Conor's doing. And there will be some finally on it that say, well, he's doing it because of his dad's name and his dad's giving him a foot up. Yeah, you're right. His dad has given him a foot up. But I know many boxers that have famous dads that haven't done anything. Honestly, have literally done not much. I can name literally 10. So sometimes look at Julio Cesar Chavez, the most famous of dads. You know what I mean? Shea Mosley Jr. is floating around doing stuff, but he didn't really get to where he got to. Campbell Hatton, had many doors open for him. So doors will be open for you, but you've got to kick those doors down and go through them.
Is he playing the villain? Is that what you think he's doing? Because Conor Benn, and I've heard Hatman really doesn't like Conor Benn. Is that what he's? Has he realized now it's better to play the villain and get opportunities that way than to try and be loved?
No, I do think he wants to be loved as well, but ultimately he wants you to tune in. What do they say? No press is bad press or something.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember the phrase, something like that.
No bad publicity is better than no publicity.
There you go. It's a short boxing career. Make the best of it, you will. All of a sudden, and this is crazy. In fact, I'll ask you the question: what percentage of boxers in the UK do you think Americans know?
Very little. I'm going to say 10%.
Minuscule. I would argue and say not even that.
I'm being
I'd honestly
generous. I'm being
argue and say,
very.
yeah, I'd say not in that. They know Conor.
They do know Conor.
They know Conor. The biggest fight we've seen this year, Conor gets into the ring after the fight. They know who Conor is now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's doing. He's winning at that. And I think boxers need to look at that. But look, he probably loses a lot of the big fights. Conor might be one of those guys that have a record of 31-7, but he would have made a lot of money through that 31-7 record.
That's actually a very good point. I think that probably would be something like that. That he'll be if Conor Benn fights Ryan next, because we all think he's going to beat Barros. I don't think he wins that fight, but I wouldn't be shocked if he loses to Ryan, he's straight in there with a Devon or a Rowley, because he'll still have that name value and people will still want to see him fight. They'll know who he is, and he'll still draw numbers at the end of the day. Like what the way he's been, we're all talking about it. Like me and you were talking about it. Everyone is talking about Conor Benn. Is it necessarily glowing reviews that people like myself are giving him? No, but we're still talking about him.
Yeah.
So he's doing
what he's
something.
done? It's kind of interesting. It's almost as though he's replaced Gervonta in this 4-5 Kings mix. Because when you think about it, he's no. Understand. Listen to what I'm saying before you know.
Okay.
What I'm saying in terms of him versus the opponent's names. Like all of a sudden, Conor's now versus Shakur, Conor versus Devon, Conor versus Ryan, Conor versus Tio. So he's almost like it's him versus those guys. He's exactly the same age as those guys as well, 28, 29. It's almost as though he's replaced the name. Like he's now him versus all of those guys as well. But literally, they're all linked to fighting Conor, which is what I was trying to say. Gervonta was linked to fighting all of them. That's what I meant. I'm certainly not saying in terms of skill. No.
Okay.
Or just name value. I'm just trying to say he's replaced. He literally is being linked to all of those guys.
I was thinking you were going to say I was like, what? What are the Four Kings in terms of skill? I was like, okay, that does make more sense. That does make more sense, right?
Yeah.
Yes, everyone seemingly wants to fight, whether it's Devon, whether it's Ryan, whether it's Shakur, even Teofimo Lopez, I'm sure would be called. I wouldn't be shocked if Lopez does call Conor Benn out for his first fight at 147. So they are all calling him out. So he is doing so. And again, UK based, as you say, everyone in MSG knew who Conor Benn was. Everyone.
I certainly do. All right, let's move on to a fight that is happening, UK versus America. They did, I think, a face-off for Ring Magazine. I'm doing a face-off for these two on Wednesday. I'm sitting down with both of them as well. I am talking about Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder, which is signed and sealed on DAZN, not Sky. What's going on?
Yes. This is a good thing. And no mention of pay-per-view yet. I still think it's a pay-per-view fight.
This will be pay-per-view, yeah.
I don't mind. I think it is I think it's pay-per-view. I do. It's good enough. I like it. See, this is what I've said about Chisora and Wilder for a while. I've said about both guys, right? I've no issue with both guys carrying on their career. And I've no issue with both guys wanting to be in big fights if they're willing to fight their own contemporaries. You know, Dylan White, Chisora 3, I was like, yeah, take my money, because they're both similar in their career. Likewise, Wilder and Chisora. I think Chisora will win. But if Wilder can find some of his old spirit, and bear in mind, he's not in there with a young Joseph Parker. He's not in there with, Zhilei Zhang is old, but he's fresh and he's dangerous. He's in there with someone who's at a similar stage. They're both going for fight number 50, you know?
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. I'm so much happier then that this is happening. And look, they're both going to continue. If you both want to fight, as much as I say both shouldn't fight anymore, if you're going to fight, these are the type of fights I don't mind. I don't want to see Chisora versus Wardley, although I got it financially, and I certainly didn't want to see Wilder versus Usyk. This makes sense because they're both on the back nine, if you like, a golf term, but they're both dropping at the same rate. If anything, Wilder's dropped a lot more quicker than Chisora, who for some weird reason is still very much there. I'm not mad at this fight at all. I am surprised it's on DAZN because all the things were seemingly going towards Sky Sports. That seemed to be the thing.
It seemed like it was a slam dunk. Sky Sports were coming back. And then, look, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw this was announced, and I was like, oh, it's on DAZN. Happy days. So, you know, for me, I'm like, all right, it's in the O2 Arena in London. That's Derek Chisora's second home. So there's so much to like about this. And I think you're happy because you'll be presenting it most likely. And I know you like this fight as much as I do.
I do, and even the face-off, I'm like, these are two characters, right? I mean, anything could happen. I mean, they could, it could be like a comedy type face-off, or there could be a chair thrown and a water bottle thrown. Like, this is Chisora. I've never done a Chisora face-off or a Wilder face-off. Yeah.
Really?
So never. No, I just realized I've
Damn.
never done a Chisora face-off. So I am looking forward to seeing what Chisora does. Does Del Boy turn up, or does War Chisora turn up?
I was gonna say, if he
different characters.
If he turns around and says to Wilder, "I'm going to go through you like a laxative," what's your reaction going to be? As much as Wilder's.
I'll probably laugh.
That's the thing. If we get something like that, it'd be hilarious. A Wilder could be funny as well at those face-offs, and he hasn't done a face-off in years. So, man, that's actually crazy. Oh, look, and again, that's why we're talking about a fight between two faded contenders, and yet it's bringing smiles to our faces. We all want to see it. What's the issue? Because people are saying, "Oh, this is no, it's not. It's going to be a good fight too."
Yeah, it could be a good fight. It could be an absolute stinker. Hopefully, it's more a good fight. Misfits Pro is the promotion for it. This is their first event. I was with Vidal Riley in the gym today. Looks like he might be on the undercard, maybe chief support for it. This is for Misfits Pro. I mean, this is massive, right? I mean, you look at what Zuffa did in terms of their main event, not the one just gone, but the one previous. This is much bigger. Now this is what you say, like, let's make some noise. And this is making noise. Misfits Pro first one, and you get Wilder versus Chisora.
Brilliant, isn't it? I just think it's phenomenal. And I think that, here's the thing, right? Someone's going to turn around and say, yeah, but now we've got Zuffa, we've got the 3 promoters in the UK, and at Izzy As If, and now we've Misfits. So, they're getting the fights made. So what? I think it's great that we've got variety.
Yeah. Let's see what the rest of the undercard looks like. But now that it's got DAZN attached to it, Queensbury attached to it, I think it might be a better undercard than I think a lot of people are expecting, especially if it's pay-per-view.
Yeah, and April is shaping up to be that's a hell of a 3 weeks if you think about it. Atelma versus Franklin, Chisora Wilder, and then Fury the week after. That's a hell of a 3 weeks, man. You're going to be a busy boy.
Jesus Christ. Yes. I mean, well, the Fury one's on Netflix. So,
oh, crap. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure that I'll be working that one. Who knows? I mean, something could happen, right? But Fury confirmed against Arslanbek Makhmudov. I think me and you've done so many videos. We kind of hinted it would be Makhmudov. We kind of hinted that Fury would be back in April. We didn't think Netflix, or at least that wasn't on my thinking or my radar. Yeah. What'd you make of it?
I was very surprised. Like, I wasn't surprised when I saw the announcement. I seen it and I was like, the cat's out of the bag. And then I saw Netflix and I was like, hold up here a minute. What? Netflix? I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy about it because we're going to get to see Fury in our Netflix subscription. But it is a little bit strange. It has me wondering, is this going to be a ring show? And maybe Turkey wants to get the ring shows on Netflix because they're not pay-per-view? Again, just thinking out loud here. That was my thought. In terms of the fight itself, I love it.
Yeah, I think Turkey's definitely got big plans with Netflix. And I wonder if sort of Netflix approached Turkey. Obviously, it's a ring show, and I wonder if Netflix say, okay, we'd like to take that. And the relationship that Turkey has with Fury, I just wonder if it's kind of just that simple. And, you know, some people were surprised it wasn't on DAZN. He's never exclusively fought on DAZN, Tyson Fury.
No.
He's fought in America on ESPN, and when he's fought in the UK, it's been TNT. But DAZN, obviously, via Riyadh seasons, has had his fights. He's not a DAZN fighter. So it is a surprise, but it shouldn't maybe be that much of a surprise that he's fighting on Netflix. Obviously, the Furies was on Netflix, a big documentary. So I'm not overly surprised that Netflix have made a play for him.
No, and Netflix, they've done 2 events and they've done very well. You know, Jake Paul versus AJ, and obviously the Crawford Canelo show. So I think that this is them saying, all right, we want these big fights. They're clearly happy with the numbers. Clearly.
Serrano Taylor,
another one. Oh, what am I thinking? Of course, they're clearly happy with these numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. They've done so many. And they're going for the biggest stars.
Yes.
Like, they literally are saying, and I said this, like, if you were to say who are the biggest stars in boxing, you would say Jake Paul, you would say AJ, you'd say Canelo, you'd say Crawford, you'd certainly say Fury, Serrano, Taylor. Literally, they are going for the big ones, like almost like the guaranteed home runs.
Literally, everyone you mentioned there, name in boxing, everyone knows them. Every single one of them. And that's who Netflix are taking on.
Indeed. So if I'm DAZN, I should be worried. I will be worried, but it is what it is. You can't have everything. Like DAZN, we're never going to have a monopoly of boxing. There are too many players. What DAZN do have is a lot of fights. Obviously, the one we saw in the weekend, two big ones on the weekend. They got Mario Barrios versus Garcia, Wilder versus Chisora. So they've got big ones. So as much as they will be upset not to get Fury on DAZN, it is what it is. You can't have everything. Let's talk about a man that's been linked with Fury for more than a decade, and that's AJ. He came out, did his video, first time speaking publicly. I've done my response, or at least my thoughts on it. I thought he looked well. Obviously, he's still going through mentally a lot. It's going to take a while to get over it, but it was good to see that he looks like he's accepted what happened and is recovering from it.
Yes, it was a bit of a surprise to see it, to be honest with you, because, you know, we haven't heard an awful lot from AJ. You know, we've really only heard from people like Eddie Hearn and seen a few clips of him. It was good to see him, you know, speaking to the camera and speaking to all his fans worldwide. He does seem like he's come to terms with what happened. It doesn't make it any easier. I liked what he said about, you know, when his time comes, he's got his two brothers there. He spoke about the journey that they've all been on together. Like, this isn't just like AJ, they've only latched onto AJ when he's been famous. Their journey goes back long before that. So for him to be able to do that, you can still see he's hurting, clearly.
Yeah.
Like, he's clearly still hurting from that. But I think that, just judging by the video, I think he probably will carry on. I think he wants to keep their memory alive, and maybe that's his way of doing it. But certainly he seems to have accepted what happened, you know, mentioning the fact that when it's his time, he's his two brothers there. I think now he's probably accepted what's happened. It's not nice, and he obviously still has my sympathy and prayers with him and his friends. But it was nice to hear. It was nice to see that, all right, look, he's not just hiding himself away, which is completely the wrong thing to do in that scenario. It's nice to see that he's getting on with things and he's saying, right, here I am.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by it. Happy that he's done. He's let us know what's going on. Which again, there was no timeline to do that.
No, of course not.
If he disappeared and came back in the summer, who's going to question it? I thought though he might almost do a sit-down interview with, I don't know, like a Piers Morgan or someone, like an Oprah Winfrey maybe. I thought that there might be something like that, and maybe that's to come. But I think it was good for him not to be asked questions and for him to give something from his soul. Like, that was nothing written down. There was no auto cue. That was just him talking. I think that's the best thing.
Well, I 100% agree with you. When you said having some interview him, I thought, no. AJ probably needs to just say what's on his mind, not have someone ask him anything, not have someone maybe, you know, make him replay things in an interview. If he wants to do that down the line, he can. The way he did that was the best. Just do it pre-recorded. Don't go live, because God knows what idiots are like in chats and stuff like that. Just do a pre-recorded video, set it out to the world, and there you go. Yeah,
and then you can just almost retreat without that pressure of I've not said anything. All right, let's end on this. Boxer put on a show the other day, headlined by Fran Hennessy. I haven't seen the show, and I'm not just saying that because honestly, there's been so much going on this weekend. I haven't seen the show as yet. They now have a worldwide deal, I believe, with DAZN, who are going to show their fights. Obviously, they've got the BBC deal, shows that in the UK. Obviously, DAZN will show their fights globally. I actually don't know what this is. If I'm surprised by it, and it makes me feel like, why did Boxer even go to BBC? Why not just go to DAZN? I don't understand. Or maybe there's an issue, because if you were to go to DAZN, how many sort of weekends could DAZN give you? Bear in mind they've got Matchroom in Queensby already. But yeah, I don't quite get the deal here.
I really was scratching my head when I seen it, because I was thinking, you've done all this, big reveals. We've gone to the BBC. Yeah, and believe me, the shows have been really good. BBC have done a great job producing the shows. But like, you've got 4 dates. Now you have Lauren Price in April, and it's hitting in again with a major show, Chisora versus Wilder. And then that's your 4 shows for the BBC done. So are you only going to have a handful of dates for the rest of the year, and DAZN are just going to have them exclusively, not just worldwide, but in the UK? If that's the case, why didn't you just, are you really going to miss 4 shows with the BBC? Would you not have just gone with DAZN then as a whole? It's really strange. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't get it either, if I'm honest with you. I mean, especially now that there's talk about Golden Boy not having their deal with DAZN
Yeah.
renewed, and you look at the Golden Boy stable, and I mean, it destroys. I mean, look, this all could come down to pounds and cents and dollars and cents. I mean, who knows what boxer are getting paid? It might be so minuscule that DAZN are like, okay, we'll do it, as opposed to what Golden Boy want or what Top Rank want or whoever else wants. So maybe it's just a win-win for everyone. But yeah, I don't understand. Like I know for a fact that our show on Saturday, the main event went live earlier than normal, and I think it was because of Fran Hennessy, so there was no clash. I believe that's what happened.
That's frustrating when they do that, though, because you're having to change shows and you're having to do this and all this. Why? I don't understand, because Ben Shalom was nearly always hitting in with either Frank or Eddie's, one or the other, and he's doing it again against pay-per-view this time. It would be so much easier if he was just on one network. So he said, "Here's Frank's schedule, here's Eddie's, work around it," because we never see Matchroom and Queensbury clash.
Well, we don't anymore, obviously. When was the Lauren Price? When is the Lauren Price fight? Do you know?
Same day as Chisora Wilder. April 4th.
You're just going to lose.
It's silly. Makes no sense.
There's going to be no eyeballs on it. Regardless of the fact it's free on BBC, there's going to be no eyeballs. Everyone is watching Chisora Wilder. Everyone. The whole build up, the lot.
I wouldn't be shocked if Lauren Price gets an injury and moves that fight back, because he was going to do Jamie TKV versus Fraser Clark. He was going to do it the same day as Wardley versus Parker. Like, it's just as silly. No one's going to watch that. They're going to watch that because that's a much better fight. And it's the same with this. And this is even bigger because you're talking about two. Yeah, they're a bit past it, but they're stars. We all know Chisora. We all know Wilder. Lauren Price, I like the girl. Nothing against her, but like, she can't go up against them. There's no way.
No, there's not much that could go up against Chisora Wilder. So this is certainly not a dig at Lauren Price, who I think is a pound for pounder. But you're talking Chisora Wilder. I mean, every casual boxing fan knows who these people are. These two have been sort of boxing statesmen, elder statesmen for over a decade, have given us wars for over a decade. Like, you're not competing with this. You're not competing with a heavyweight fight, let alone Wilder Chisora. So yeah, I do wonder if they are going to try and reschedule. All right. Look, there are so many other little bits as well. William Skull fought, remember him? The guy that had a stinker with Canelo. He got knocked out, by the way, in Denmark, I think it was. So yeah, that it makes you kind of wonder about that. This is why I was very comfortable picking Crawford to beat Canelo. I was very comfortable because I was like, I just saw William Skull fight Canelo, and it was a shit fight. And all of a sudden, I think we now know the level of William Skull. But look, guys, it's been a busy week. We tried to squeeze all of this in to just shy of an hour. Hopefully, you've enjoyed it. You know what to do. I'm going to collab with G-Man anyway on this video. But please subscribe to G-Man's channel. Loads of good content coming. Me and G-Man might do a double live soon, actually. A lot of people are asking us to do a live together, so we might do that. We'll see. But loads of content on my channel, loads of content on G-Man's channel. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Peace.
Thank you so much.